Hello, everybody. Welcome to NFL Total Access Week in Review. A fun week that was headlined by the 2020 regular season schedule release. We'll dig into that with interviews from Patriots head coach Bill Belichick, as well as hearing from the defending Super Bowl champion head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs, Andy Reid. Plus, we'll pay tribute to the late, great Don Shula. All that and more coming up. But first, let's get a look at your news headlines from James Palmer.
Well, thanks, Rhett. Let's start off with some rookie news and the number one overall pick, Joe Burrow. Now, COVID-19 has affected the world in many different ways, but how about how it's affecting Burrow signing his contract with the Cincinnati Bengals? On Pardon My Take podcast, Burrow said he hasn't yet signed because he doesn't really know what's going to happen over the next 3 months. Burrow isn't holding out. He participated in the team's virtual rookie minicamp. He'll collect just short of $24 million when he does sign. Burrow's number one target, A.J. Green, says that he and the rest of the wide receivers, when allowed, will go anywhere their new quarterback decides so they can start throwing together. The wide receivers will be the ones doing the traveling because Green wants Burrow to know he is the leader of their offense. Redskins pass rusher Chase Young has 2 games scheduled on the 2020 calendar. The number 2 overall pick has his eyes set on the Week 11 matchup against the Bengals, the only team that passed on him in last month's draft, and he'll get a chance to take down his former teammate at The Ohio State University, Joe Burrow, the only player picked ahead of him. Young is also excited to go against the MVP, Lamar Jackson, in Week 4. Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins has some advice for Dak Prescott about playing on the franchise tag. Don't be afraid of the tag. It can be your friend. Use it to your advantage, Cousins said on ESPN this past week. Cousins was tagged in back-to-back seasons in Washington, then turned that into a record-breaking $84 million fully guaranteed deal with Minnesota. Prescott and the Cowboys have until July 15th to work out a long-term deal. The Jaguars did talk to Andy Dalton's representation. Dalton ended up signing in Dallas, and the Jags agreed to terms with veteran quarterback Mike Glennon. Head coach Doug Marrone believes there is a comfort level with Glennon, someone he's studied since the 8-year vet came out in NC State. The first of first-round picks has signed. Panthers and 7th overall selection defensive tackle Derek Brown agreed to terms on a 4-year, $23.6 million deal, fully guaranteed. Now, Ravens wide receiver Marquise Brown is visualizing a trip to the Super Bowl in February and also told Bleacher Report that he is bigger, stronger, and faster than he was during his rookie season, where Hollywood had 7 touchdowns and 584 receiving yards. Elsewhere in the NFL, Philip Rivers was named head coach Friday at St. Michael Catholic High School in Alabama. Rivers signed a 1-year deal with the Colts in March and says he has not yet made a decision when he'll retire from the NFL. Falcons running back Todd Gurley was a guest on Uninterrupted and said he doesn't know why the Rams still have not paid him after cutting him. Gurley is still owed $7.55 million by LA. Les Snead was on NFL Now last month and said Gurley would get paid. Remember, you can go to NFL.com for all your news and notes on the NFL, but for right now, let's send you back to Total Access.
The Kansas City Chiefs are champions of Super Bowl 54.
Free agency officially open.
DeAndre Hopkins landing with the Arizona Cardinals. They trade David Johnson to the Texans.
Another massive trade today.
I really love the Diggs trade.
Teddy Bridgewater to Carolina. Phillip Rivers heading to Indianapolis.
How does the Rams let this dude off of their roster?
Breaking news, Tom Brady to sign with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Panthers are cutting Cam Newton.
Rob Gronkowski to come back and play for the Bucs.
With the first pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, Joe Burrow, the Miami Dolphins select Tua Tagovailoa.
He's a winner. He just finds ways to win.
We turn our eyes to the Tom Brady left in the New England Patriots. This is a Patriots team that we all know is entering a brave new world that Belichick and the rest of the Patriots have not had since, one would think, before Brady and Belichick arrived together on the scene in the 2000 campaign. And 11 straight seasons winning the division, 17 straight seasons with at least double-digit wins, and so on and so forth. Now let's get to their 2020 schedule. So there is the 2020 schedule for your New England Patriots, who open up the season at home in Gillette against the Miami Dolphins before starting out on a lengthy road trip all the way to Seattle before coming home for the Las Vegas Raiders. A highly anticipated trip to Kansas City, as you can see, 5 nationally televised games for the New England Patriots, whose head coach joining us right now from what appears to be Nike the Dog's favorite draft seat, if I'm not mistaken. That is Bill Belichick. How are you, Coach?
I'm good, Rich. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. It's good to see a schedule. It's good to see you. I'm wondering, what is the first order of business when you take a look at a schedule for the first time?
Well, I think, to start on the early opponents and make sure that we're ready to go on those. Anything that we might need to install in training camp to, make sure that we have those ready for the early part of the season. That'll be part of the conversation. And just get to refamiliarize ourselves with that.
And then opening up at home with Miami is first order of business. You'll either see a Harvard man coming home or Tua at that point in time. At what point do you start to move your mind in that direction, Coach?
Yeah. Well, again, I think the main thing in training camp for us is to make sure that we know what we're doing and we're ready to go. So I'm sure we'll have plenty of time. Assuming the preseason goes somewhat the way it has in the past, we'll have time to evaluate the preseason games and, get an idea of, what players we'll be facing.